All right, this is for exercise 3. We were prompted to write a program that was a guessing game. It generates a random integer between the numbers of 1 and 10,000. The program should prompt the user to enter a guess. The guess will then output whether the value of the random number is higher or lower of said guess, and then update those min and max values to the range that was then dictated by the guess. So I did create a flowchart and submit that, as well as my source code. So I'm going to go ahead and flip the camera so I can show you guys how this ran. Okay, so here is my JavaScript, or my Java program in Eclipse. So as you can see, I started at the top by importing our method of random. There you go. Just give you an idea of what's within it, allows you to kind of see what properties it has. Then we went ahead and created a class, guessing game. I then imported the main and then started here. So I defined rand as my variable using this method. So I could then declare target as an integer and set it equal to the range that we're looking for, and also use target as a counter. Then initialize variables to keep track of the range. So we have min and a max, those are our range, and then obviously a variable for guessing. Created a scanner, then created a while loop. So after reading some outside sources from the book, I was able to see that you could just create a loop that would prompt for whether it was true or false, which in this case is nice because then, you know, it didn't have to design an expression within the variables to kind of manipulate. In this case, we're just looking at an if and an if-else statement. So we're going to print our user to prompt enter a guess between 1 and 1,000, which are the min and max variables that we established up top. But then go ahead and get an input from the user and establish that variable as guess. That is now assigned a value from the input. In my first if statement, I then have just one thing I need to look for. If it's true, you're very unlikely to guess the right number off the bat from between 1 and 10,000. But if that were to happen, we use the operand assigned within that to go ahead and print winner. And I put break, so that way we would just write out the loop, done. Again, difficult. So in that regard, it took a minute to kind of think about it, but updating the variables is actually easier than I thought. So with these two different situational factors, we know that if the guess is less than the target, we're going to go ahead and set the min to a new value of that guess, because it's going to tell you that it wants an answer that's higher, so your value is lower than what's needed. And then in the opposite, we don't even have to try even that hard, is because if the number comes in and we know there's a good chance that it's probably somewhere in the upper range, we're just going to go ahead and say, hey, or I mean the lower range, excuse me, we're going to go ahead and say, hey, you need a lower number than that. So, like, you know, put in 7,000, you know, look for a lower range. So this is an example, and this is just how you close that scanner out after we're done with the while loop. So it go ahead and prompts you for a guess. We'll say 5,000, and now updated the max. So now we're going to go ahead and say, okay, we need a lower guess. So say 500. No, it definitely wants something higher than that. So we'll say 1,500. Okay, higher than that, 2,000. Higher, oh, look at that, it said lower. So it's within now a smaller scope. So 1,500 to 2,000. So let's say 750, wants lower, 1,600, higher, so 1,650, higher, 1,660, higher, 1,670, higher, 1,680. We'll get there, guys. But it is updating, so we'll know eventually. You know, you can get a pretty low scope of what you want to do. So lower, 1710, higher, 1720. We're getting there. Oh, lower than that. So we're really close now. So 1715. Wow, never had it take me quite this long. There's only one number left. Boom, and we're winning. Thank you.